Guidelines for consumption. 1. CP to be determined, please consider carefully if you mind. The author still needs encouragement. 2. All stories are fictional backgrounds, please do not take the postgraduate entrance exam too seriously. The first 3 planes are not written well. Those who are interested can take a look, while those who are not interested can start from the 4th plane. After the pregnancy, specialize in one profession every life. The first generation of Yu Xiao was an ordinary person, and the second generation would still be an ordinary person if it weren't for having golden fingers, and may even face starvation. Therefore Yu Xiao, who has experience in reading, said that being a person still requires the skill of being close to oneself. Otherwise, if there is no golden finger after reading, the first group will starve to death. So, realizing that she had traveled again, she remained calm and quickly secretly decided to start rolling from infancy. As the saying goes, a foolish bird flies first and enters the forest early. This foolish bird must work hard and roll up early. Keywords of the novel. Quickly wearing each world's occupation, no pop-ups. Quickly wearing each world's occupation, complete collection download. Quickly wearing each world's occupation, latest chapter reading. 1. Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Dr. 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, of the city. Dr. 1. After Yu Xiao regained consciousness, she still had some confusion. But after a moment, she couldn't help but feel happy about it. She said, how could she die so hastily? It's not like we have to wait for her to explain everything before we die. Hey, by the way, where is this? Why is it so crowded? That little kid Huancheng has left me somewhere. When I wake up and see if I don't take care of him properly, he will be squeezed to death. However, why am I so tired? After a while, Yu Xiao's consciousness became blurred again. My husband, my back hurts. When will it be possible to have? The faint sound of speech occasionally made Yu Xiao feel a headache. She moved restlessly twice, and her consciousness was once again overwhelmed by fatigue. Subconsciously, Yu Xiao had already sensed something was wrong, but she couldn't move her thoughts, put in all her efforts, and couldn't resist, eventually falling into a swampy darkness. During her struggle, she sometimes felt like she was about to break free, but the next second she would fall into chaos again. When she wanted to give up, she suddenly felt like she could break free. After an unknown amount of time, she finally regained consciousness. She seemed to be immersed in water, surrounded by pitch black. She couldn't see or hear any sound, but she could feel the presence of her hands and feet, but didn't know where they were. Just as she wanted to explore where she was, she once again lost control and fell into ignorance. At some point, she heard a faint voice again, and before she could be happy, something seemed to be wrong. Because she didn't hear very clearly, she only heard some intermittent words such as amniotic fluid broken, no movement, and turning and planing. At this moment, distant memories suddenly emerged. Did she wear them back? Or did she travel again this time, to the pregnant woman? That's not right either. How could a pregnant woman soak in water? Did she cross into the interstellar space in contemplation? A mournful scream echoed through the sky, startling her. Before she could react, she felt a bit suffocated and a water source around her was rapidly flowing away. At this moment, she suddenly had a bold guess, but she didn't have much time to think. Self-rescue was the most important thing. Yu Xiao let go of his mental energy and slowly adjusted his position, keeping his head in the direction of the water flow. Then, he waited for the opportunity with all his might, and at some point, he seized the opportunity and rushed out with all his might. But she exerted a lot of force, feeling like Huyo suddenly came out and bumped into someone's arms. Don't ask why, you know it's in a person's arms. One is seen by your spiritual power, and the other is when you hear a female voice. My grass, you scared me. Fortunately, you caught it. This baby is so strong. At the same time, when Yu Xiao opened his eyes, it was a blur and he couldn't see clearly. At this moment, she had confirmed her guess that she had a puncture, and it was estimated to be modern, but she didn't know when it was that year. She couldn't hold on anymore. She was really tired, maybe it was due to self-rescue just now. Let's wait until she gets enough sleep and think about everything else. At this moment, Yu Xiaoxiao really belongs to a state where she can fall asleep just by sleeping, but she was forced to wake up shortly after sleeping. Faced with a very embarrassing situation, forced to take the first bite of food, Yu Xiaoxiao said she really didn't need it, she wasn't hungry. Due to Yu Xiaoxiao's silence, his mother was very anxious and the nurse was also helping. Yu Xiaoxiao. Should I eat or not? According to this nurse, is my mother planning to feed herself in this lifetime? I don't know if it's simply because she wants to give herself the best, or is there an economic reason? If there are economic reasons, if you don't eat it yourself, you will have to spend a lot of money on milk powder in the future, and I don't know if your family is wealthy or not in this life. If you are wealthy, it's okay. I'm afraid that if you're not wealthy, you won't be able to eat, which will only make the family situation worse. After experiencing some inner turmoil, she finally endured the embarrassment and took a sip, then resolutely stopped eating and slept with her mouth tightly closed. Fortunately, this was also over, and the nurse let herself go. Unconsciously, Yu Xiaoxiao fell asleep again and missed the opportunity to learn about her family situation. However, there is no need to worry, there are still plenty of opportunities. Upon waking up again, Yu Xiaoxiao was awakened from hunger. For some reason, she had an impulse to cry. After thinking for a while, she decided to abandon that sense of shame and hypnotize herself to be a baby now. Crying when hungry is normal and not embarrassing. After crying, Yu Xiaoxiao opened his blurry eyes and stopped speaking. Although he convinced himself, his sense of shame could not disappear in a short while. The mother of this life woke up immediately upon hearing the sound, trying to breastfeed Yu Xiaoxiao, but didn't dare to touch her. She was so anxious that she was sweating profusely. In the end, she could only wake her husband up and ask him to go find a nurse to help. After being taught by the nurse, Yu Xiaoxiao felt like she had been let down, and then she felt a pair of rough hands trembling as she tried to pick herself up. But Yu Xiaoxiao was really hungry. He couldn't wait any longer, so he could only endure his shame and anger and cry again to remind him. Finally, his mother couldn't help but say, "Let me breastfeed the child first." The father of this lifetime immediately breathed a sigh of relief and quickly agreed, right, let the baby breastfeed first. Finally, Yu Xiaoxiao ate milk and quickly took 2 sips. As soon as she was full, she fell asleep again. However, when she fell asleep, she suddenly felt her legs heating up. Yu Xiaoxiao stayed there for 2 seconds, her face instantly turning red. Damn it, she actually peed. At this moment, the shy and angry Yu Xiaoxiao had not yet realized that this was just the beginning of her nightmare, and there were still many awkwardness she would encounter in the future. From starving to breastfeeding, changing diapers, and then taking a shower, Yu Xiaoxiao was repeatedly forced to see everything, and he completely collapsed. Love whatever you want. Yu Xiaoxiao didn't do nothing, at least she knew her name, Lu Xiaoxiao, in this life, as well as the modern era and family size of this life. Oh, by the way, she brought all her cheats with her. At the full moon, personal attributes have already been significantly restored. Strength 50/27375 agility 48/282582 physical fitness 45/283596 spirit 500/294831 status. For dimensional rapid recovery in progress, reminder. Successfully refreshed, in World Force Assessment. Assessment completed. World Armed Forces Assessment results. Low Armed World. The average 4-dimensional value for a normal person is 15, and the upper limit for adult strong men is 30. The maximum 4-dimensional limit for Special Forces is 100, the maximum 4-dimensional limit for Special Constitutions is 150, and the maximum 4-dimensional limit for Kung Fu successors is 200. Additionally, If equipped with weapons, it is necessary to increase their lethality. This is higher than that of an adult strong man. If it weren't for her frequent practice of control in space and the experience bonus from the previous life, she wouldn't have acted too non-human. She turned a year old in the blink of an eye, and finally adapted to her own strength, but she had new troubles. End of this chapter. Chapter 2, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Doctor 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Doctor 2. Is she going to live an ordinary life or a wonderful life? She wants both a stable life and a less peaceful life, occasionally experiencing some excitement. Thinking of this, she began to ponder her future goals again. What kind of work should she do well? To be honest, she feels that once her attributes are fully restored, she will be completely safe. She can do whatever she wants, and she can do whatever she wants. Wait, this is modern, right? That is to say, besides military force, there are also thermal weapons. Mom. To be safe, after all, I am still a physical mortal. How could it be compared to steel? If a shell falls, I will have to meet the king of hell. Just pretend that I can resist it, but she dare not. The most powerful thing is the atomic bomb. Although she was certain that no one would use such a large-scale destructive weapon for the sake of a harm, she still dared not gamble on that 0.1%. Although she has lived for 2 lifetimes and is considered to have lived enough, it's better to live than to die. Besides, she still has a lot of delicious food to eat and many things to do. Anyway, she just feels like she can live, so she has to live. Suicide is impossible. So in this life, there must be no waves, no waves. Well. Not only can't waves, but they also need to be rolled up. It's best to ensure that these hot weapons never face you, and your anomalies must never be exposed. Yu Xiaoxiao, also known as Lu Xiaoxiao in this lifetime, is seriously pondering. What should she do to ensure that these things will never face her? She really has no experience in this matter. After thinking about it, Lu Xiaoxiao decided to try and see if she could become a national treasure level figure. She always felt that it would be much safer. As for which aspect to start from, she doesn't need to consider at all. It must be medical skills. With the foundation of the previous life, it's not easy. After setting a goal, Lu Xiaoxiao began to roll up and stop talking about sleeping. Whenever he had time, his soul would enter the space to ponder medical skills. Even though she devoted the rest of her life to medical skills, she still couldn't fully comprehend them. In addition, she later collected many medical books, cases, and prescriptions from that era. Time is like water, never stopping. 2 years pass by in a blink of an eye. Lu Xiaoxiao's family in this lifetime is still a big family, with a considerable number of people. Lu Xiaoxiao is now 3 years old and has only seen his parents once. Because my parents live outside with their son all year round, and they rarely come back even during the Chinese New Year. As for my second father, he hasn't gotten married yet, and he's a mature man who can be seen every time during the Chinese New Year. And my father and grandfather only come back during the Chinese New Year and go out to earn money around the 15th day of the first lunar month. Therefore, my grandmother, great-grandfather, mother, and she were left to live together at home. How to put it, as far as the family situation is concerned, it can't be said to be good, but it can't be said to be bad either. Life is still passable, but there are still debts outside, which are being paid off every year. This is what Lu Xiaoxiao learned from a conversation between her parents. At this point, I have to mention the sad fact that I have not had my own room since I was young downstairs. Yes, my parents did not buy a house when they got married in this lifetime, and they still lived in a house owned by my parents, so there were no extra rooms for her at home. When she was 1 year old and celebrating the Chinese New Year, she also encountered a particularly awkward situation where her parents were forced to listen to the corners of the bed, thinking that she, who was only 1 year old, still didn't understand anything. Oh my goodness! She is the soul of an old lady in her baby shell, and most importantly, she did not listen to her parents' abnormal habits at the corner of the bed. It was simply agonizing. At that time, she really wanted to have Dao Lei quickly chop her up. Fortunately, during the last 2 Chinese New Year celebrations, they handed her over to her grandmother and asked her to sleep with her. However, Lu Xiaoxiao became increasingly in need of her own room. I finally managed to make it to kindergarten, but my dad and grandma want her to go to school near home. Oh my God, absolutely not, she wants her own room. This also caused an argument, and her mother wanted her to go to the county, but her grandmother and father disagreed. There's no other way, Mom, she can only do psychological work for Lu Weirong. It's either because her hometown is too remote and the transportation is inconvenient, or because she has taken care of her child so much. For a while, she really can't bear to leave her child at home and go out to work on her own. She also said she wants to have her child attend kindergarten in the county so that she can find a job and earn money while taking care of her child. Lu Xiaoxiao was also trying her best to help her, and she couldn't bear to part with her mother. She wanted to have her own room. Their mouths were almost worn out before they finally understood their father Lu Weirong. The mother and daughter looked at each other and were both very happy. After my father agreed, this matter became easier to handle. Although my grandmother was a bit unhappy in the end, she also agreed. The next day after the agreement was made, the 3 of them went to the county to rent a house and quickly packed up and moved in. Lu Xiaoxiao finally had her own independent space. She couldn't bear sleeping with her parents for a moment and threw herself on her own small bed. She enjoyed rolling and was extremely happy. On the first day of kindergarten, Lu Xiaoxiao went happily, but after only half a day, Lu Xiaoxiao couldn't be happy anymore. When she took her home, her mind was still buzzing, replaying the cries of various children. She has never taken care of children before, but she never thought that there was such a big difference in power between a child crying and a group of children crying. At that time, she was even thinking about not going to kindergarten, but she knew it was impossible and her mother wouldn't allow it. So, she covered her ears and squatted in the corner, feeling empty and expressionless, but it made her even more weak, pitiful, and helpless. Finally, when the preschool teachers had calmed all the children, Lu Xiaoxiao breathed a big sigh of relief and looked up to see the tired and sweaty teachers. At this moment, she sincerely pays tribute to the preschool teachers, admires them to the extreme, and has a high level of patience. If she were to be replaced, she would definitely not be able to, it would be too painful. After finally finishing school, Lu Xiaoxiao carried a cute little backpack and looked at the outside with her feet padded, hoping that her mother would quickly take her away from here. At the moment she saw Shika, Lu Xiaoxiao wanted to rush over, but reason made her obediently queue up and wait. After being picked up and having dinner at home, Lu Xiaoxiao thought he could collapse, but his mother had other plans. So, she was dragged by her mother to the square for activities. As for why this happened, it was probably because Lu Xiaoxiao used to eat and sleep almost every day before, which made her mother Shika worried. She thought she was suffering from narcolepsy or something, so she took her for a check-up and spent a lot of money in vain. After checking, she finally found out that she was just lazy. After a long time, she felt at ease, but when it was time to go to kindergarten, she began to worry again. Fortunately, the building didn't cause any trouble and went obediently, which made Shiku feel more at ease. End of this chapter. Chapter 3, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Dr. 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Dr. 3. But she didn't want her daughter to be so lazy anymore, so Lu Xiaoxiao started her daily routine of being often dragged out for walks and activities. Just like at this moment, Lu Xiaoxiao sat bored in a corner of the square, holding his chubby little face and emptying his mind. To be honest, Lu Xiaoxiao truly feels that this is a waste of time. She can study medicine in the space, rather than just daydreaming and wasting her good years. She doesn't want to make friends at all. She really doesn't have time to play with children. In this life, she doesn't want to be an aimless fish. She is a person who aspires to become a medical expert and a national treasure. She felt that she couldn't afford to waste every minute and second of her time. Just then, a little boy with a frog hydrogen balloon tied to his hand ran up to Lu Xiaoxiao and said in a milky voice, "Child, can you be friends with me? I'll play with the frog for you." As she spoke, she reached out to Lu Xiaoxiao with the hand tied to the frog hydrogen balloon, and her face was cute. However, Lu Xiaoxiao, who had been poisoned by kindergarten children, remained unmoved and spoke in a particularly firm tone, "Not good." After being rejected, the little boy was very unhappy, but he didn't want to just give up. After lingering around the small building for a while, he didn't know what came to his mind. Suddenly he ran away, but after a while he ran back and pushed a small car. With a happy smile on his face, he said, "You play with me, I'll take you to play with the car." Lu Xiaoxiao didn't even move his buttocks and refused again, "Don't." The little boy still wanted to play with the beautiful little sister in front of him, and he reached out to grab her. Lu Xiaoxiao can't take action against Xiao Budian, he can only let him pull. The little boy only made his face turn red with all his might, but he couldn't even tug at Lu Xiaofan. Tears quickly welled up in his eyes. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the little boy calmly, thinking whether he wanted to coax him or not. He looked cute, but the next second Lu Xiaoxiao quickly shook his head. This morning's experience is still vivid in his mind, and he can't remember whether to eat or fight. The little boy was supposed to cry, but when he saw his cute little sister staring at him, he couldn't let her laugh at him. He had to hold back his tears and quickly turned around and ran away with a clattering sound. When the little sister couldn't see it, tears trickled down from her mouth, crying both wrongly and sadly. Lu Xiaoxiao thought the little boy had given up. She used to play with her in kindergarten, but she refused several times. Gradually, they stopped playing with her. However, to her surprise, the little boy was still a master who would not stop until he reached his goal. This time, he directly dragged his mother here. One big and one small stood in front of Lu Xiaoxiao, who was also difficult to see, so they looked up at them. On the other side, when he went to the public restroom, he saw a big and a small crowd blocking his daughter. Due to the angle issue, he instinctively thought that these two people were causing trouble for his daughter, so he was scared and quickly ran over to protect her. "What do you want?" he asked in a tone that was not polite. The little boy's mother knew at first glance that there was a misunderstanding and quickly waved her hand to explain, "Don't misunderstand, we have no ill intentions. It was my son who wanted to play with your child, but your child didn't want to, that he pulled me over." After listening to the explanation, Shiko felt a little relieved and then looked at the big and small things in front of him. The woman had a black and straight head, with a slight fringe decoration on her forehead. Her face was delicate with a mature charm, and she was dressed in a light pink cherry blossom dress, giving the impression of a girl with a girlish heart. Looking down, the most eye-catching thing is a pair of clearly crying big eyes, with tears hanging on the moist eyelashes and red eyes. A clean and neat outfit complements the little boy's softness, cuteness, and handsomeness. Paired with his red eyes, it can make these mothers burst with compassion. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at his mother Shika's increasingly soft gaze and felt uneasy. He quickly caught her attention and gently tugged at her pant legs, saying, Mom, Xiaoxiao is tired. How about we go home?" Shiku looked at his daughter through the force coming from his pants and gave her a fake smile, refusing. "Mom is not blind. I won't be able to go back until 7 o'clock today." Lu Xiaoxiao is speechless again, as for what? If Shiku knew her daughter's thoughts, she would nod confidently and say that although she knew children were smart, she had never seen her own daughter so smart. When she didn't know how to speak, it was okay. She just felt that her daughter was not usually well behaved. Later, when her daughter could speak, her intelligence suddenly came out. When two words jump out, she will pull herself and say, "hungry to eat," when she is hungry, and when she asks for a change, it is, "stinky change." When she pees, she will keep quiet without wasting her diaper and not feeling uncomfortable. Once she feels a little uncomfortable, she will immediately ask for a wet change. At first, she didn't pay much attention, but later on, this pattern became apparent as she tried more times. When she got older, she saw that other children always liked to run outside, but her own daughter still liked to eat and slept, too lazy to move. She was worried and always wanted to take her out to play. "Alright now, I'm using all my intelligence." Within 2 hours of going out for the first time, she said she was tired and wanted to go back. After less than an hour of going out for the second time, she said she wanted to defecate and asked for help outside. She was unwilling to go back and had to go. The third time. To the nth time, every time I went out and stayed for less than an hour, I had various reasons to go back, and each time the reasons were not repeated, which really made Shiko laugh angrily. So, Shiko no longer believes in Lu Xiaoxiao's mouth. Suddenly, Shiko realized something and almost forgot about his daughter's interruption. He glared at her and then looked up warmly, saying, "You just said your son wants to play with my daughter, right? Come on, let's sit over there and chat, let the children play on their own." The woman first glanced at the little girl's son and then nodded at Shiko, saying, "Okay, let's go sit and chat, let the children play by themselves." After finishing with a smile, he bent down and rubbed his son's hair, warning, "You should take good care of your little sister when playing with her. You can't bully her, okay?" The little boy nodded seriously and patted his chest earnestly, promising, "I will take good care of my little sister in winter, so that I won't bully her." "Okay, Mom believes in us in winter. Mom and Auntie should go sit on the bench and get along well." Dong Dong nodded obediently, making she very envious. She really wished her daughter could be so obedient, instead of fighting against her like she is now. Lu Xiaoxiao can be considered a personal genius no matter what. She can easily see through Shiko's thoughts at a glance. It is absolutely impossible for her to pretend to be obedient. Do you want her to lose face? End of this chapter. Chapter 4, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Dr. 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4, Chapter 1. The King of Scrolls, Dr. 4. Just curl your head slightly and pretend you haven't noticed, striving to be transparent. After the two mothers left, Dong Dong immediately ran lively to Lu Xiaoxiao and squatted down, talking incessantly. Lu Xiaoxiao still held his small fleshy face in a daze, but also showed a hint of attention to Dong Dong. Even without Lu Xiaoxiao's support, Dong Dong can still speak happily on his own, talking about his hobbies and family situation from today's interesting events. Lu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but suspect that this child is so talkative, whether even his own family can go bald. However, this also made Lu Xiaoxiao understand this talkative child. His full name is Su Dong, and his nickname is Dong Dong. He studied at Nanjing Kindergarten in this county. He is only 3 days younger than her, and today is also the first day of kindergarten. As for other unimportant information, Lu Xiaoxiao ignored it directly. Sister, what's your name?" Lu Xiaoxiao really didn't want to answer, but 4 scorching gazes from not far away made her scalp tingle. She reluctantly tugged at the corner of her mouth and said to Su Dong's sparkling eyes, "Lu Xiaoxiao. Wow, how about I call you Xiaoxiao, dot." Lu Xiaoxiao reached out and pressed Su Dong's head in front of her, saying calmly, "No, are your legs numb?" Not to mention it's okay, Su Dong didn't even notice it. Upon hearing Lu Xiaoxiao's reminder, a painful and numbing sensation swept over him. Su Dong's small face collapsed, his mouth deflated, and tears streamed down his face. After a while, he started crying, feeling very aggrieved. Lu Xiaoxiao thought she was about to welcome the demon sound through her brain, but once again, to her surprise, the little child was just sobbing softly. In an instant, Lu Xiaoxiao's liking for the little child increased. "Don't cry, I'll help you knead it so you don't feel uncomfortable," he said softly after finishing speaking. Lu Xiaoxiao helped Su Dong massage his legs and let him lean against him. After Su Dong sobbed and waited for his legs to feel better, he smiled at Lu Xiaoxiao with his pitiful little face. Lu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but be smirked by the little boy. Sure enough, a child's smiling face can always be likable. Lu Xiaoxiao rubbed Su Dong for a while before asking, "Are you still feeling uncomfortable?" Su Dong wiped away her tears and shook her head, her voice soft and cute. "It doesn't hurt anymore, thank you, sister." After some thought, Lu Xiaoxiao corrected Su Dong's address. In fact, she didn't know how to make him address her. After much thought, it was only appropriate for him to call her sister. "I'm older than you, call me sister." To be honest, she even feels uncomfortable asking children to call her sister. In the previous life, children called her ancestors. Su Dong nodded obediently and cleverly, "Sister." Lu Xiaoxiao touched Su Dong's head and said, "All right, don't squat in front of me. I'll watch you play." Su Dong held on to Lu's small hand and tilted his head in a cute way, saying, "Sister, won't we play together?" "Well behaved, I don't want to play by myself." Su Dong pouted, but still obediently played on his own. It was just that he always played and ran to little Lu to talk to her. Finally staying up until night, the two mothers came to take them home, and Su Dong looked at Lu Xiaoxiao with tears in her eyes, feeling a bit reluctant to leave. Lu Xiaoxiao had to say that he would come to play with him tomorrow. Su Dong was so wrong that his mother took him away. Afterwards, every day Su Dong would have his mother take him to play with Lu Xiaoxiao. To be honest, Lu Xiaoxiao didn't know what fun this child had with him. Every time he came, he just sat there watching him play and listening to him talk. Day after day, spring and autumn come, and 3 years pass in a blink of an eye. As elementary school was about to begin, Su Dong ran to Lu Xiaojiao again. In the past 3 years, the two mothers became good friends and the two families also rented a house to live in the same building. Su Dong sighed and looked very worried. Lu Xiaoxiao was annoyed by his sigh and could only speak, "Don't sigh, what happened?" Su Dong immediately leaned over to Lu Xiaoxiao and hugged her arm, coquettishly saying, "Sister, would you like to go to the same school as me? Dong Dong wants to go to school with you." Lu Xiaoxiao has no objection to where to go to school. Since Su Dong wants to go to school together, let's do it together. So Lu Xiaoxiao nodded, and Su Dong immediately ran happily to tell Lu Xiaoxiao's mother. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the back of the child and sighed. He could also be considered her only friend in this world. It was soon school day, and Su Dong and Lu Xiaoxiao got up early and were taken by two mothers to report. Fortunately, the two of them were assigned to the same class. Su Dong led Lu Xiaoxiao to be his desk mate, and Lu Xiaoxiao also followed him. On the second day of school, a big event happened. Originally, it was normal for children to play and make noise together, but this class had a bear child who started bullying people. When Su Dong went to the bathroom, he passed by him and was pushed head-on against the leg of the table. Su Dong cried in pain and shouted, "Sister!" As soon as Lu Xiaoxiao returned from outside, he saw this scene and quickly went over to pick up Su Dong and coax him. "I don't know what this bear child thinks. When he reaches out, he will push Xiao Lu. If he doesn't push, he will use his chubby body to hit Xiao Lu." The result was that it didn't collide, but because of the reaction force, it took a few steps back and sat down on the ground. The little bear was stunned for a moment before starting to cry loudly. Lu Xiaoxiao didn't know for a moment whether to cry or laugh. Su Dong was stunned by this scene and forgot to cry. The other children were all quiet now. Lu Xiaoxiao let go of Su Dong, who had already stood up, and lifted the bear child up with a stern tone, saying, "Stand up, don't cry, otherwise I'll hit you." Speaking, Lu Xiaoxiao still punched in front of him. Although the bear child is a bear, their instinct to seek benefits and avoid harm still exists, and when threatened, their crying becomes much quieter. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the bare child still hanging in the air with his own strength and could only say again, "Stand up quickly." The bare child instinctively stood still, and Lu Xiaoxiao finally let go and asked, "Why push him?" The bare child was so tearful that he didn't speak up. Su Dong moved behind Lu Xiaoxiao, tugged at her sleeve, and whispered in a tone full of grievances, "Sister, I didn't provoke him. I have to go to the bathroom, and when I passed by him, he pushed me. I hit my head on the table leg, it hurt so much." As she spoke, she couldn't help but want to cry, her small mouth so deflated that she couldn't help feeling aggrieved. Lu Xiaoxiao turned around and looked at the place where Su Dong had been hit. He saw that it was just red, so he gave him a puff and said, "Sister, if I blow it for you, it won't hurt anymore." Su Dong reluctantly tugged at Lu's small clothes, nodded obediently, but still tears rolled in his eyes. Lu Xiaoxiao comforted Su Dong for a moment before facing the bare child with a serious face. "It has been confirmed that the contract can be signed, and normal updates will resume tomorrow." End of this chapter. Chapter 5, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 5. Say, "Why push him?" The little bear secretly glanced at Lu Xiaoxiao, her expressionless face, and instinctively confessed, "I had to go over and he was blocking my way, that's why I pushed him." Perhaps he also knew he didn't pay attention and spoke softly. Lu Xiaoxiao is very speechless, and children are indeed magical creatures who are naturally able to see people's faces and have very strange logic. The child was still young, and Lu Xiaoxiao was not prepared to patiently reason with them. So he clenched his fists again and waved a deterrent at everyone, saying, "From now on, you are not allowed to bully Su Dong. I will beat anyone who bullies him." The children all stepped back, and at the age of 6 or 7, they could already understand the meaning of some words. After Lu Xiaoxiao threatened, she pulled Su Dong out. She didn't forget that Su Dong had just said he was going to the bathroom. School days are always boring and regular, especially for someone like Lu Xiaoxiao who has a good memory. It's even easier. She had already learned it, and although the interval was a bit long, it didn't mean she forgot. Now that she's doing it again, she just feels it's too simple. Therefore, most of the time her attention is focused on studying medicine in space. In 3rd grade, she also used her lucky money to buy many surgical books related to Western medicine to read. By chance, Lu Xiaoxiao realized that there were still some differences between the traditional Chinese medicine in this world and the one she had learned. She had never seen or heard of any medicinal herbs. She had no choice but to use all her remaining lucky money to buy a medicinal herb manual, carefully studying and comparing different ones. Amidst the hustle and bustle, Su Dong and Lu Xiaoxiao are both in 6th grade. During this year, Su Dong began to study hard, while Lu Xiaoxiao was still busy researching the medical skills of this world. It was time for the exam soon, and Lu Xiaoxiao easily finished the exam questions and submitted them early. But he didn't leave, found a place to sit and wait for Su Dong, while looking at some cases that could be found online. Just after looking for a while, Lu Xiaoxiao turned off her phone and started feeling worried. She never thought she would still worry about lack of money. It's not that she doesn't have a way to make money, but it's not suitable for this era. The ubiquitous surveillance prevented her from using space or cheats to make money, and even if she had her parents at home, it was difficult to explain why. What else can she make money by excluding these, working as a laborer? But there is also an age limit. Set up a stall to buy things, but I can't explain why I make money. Pick up trash and sell it, it's a waste of time and you can earn less. Make money online, she doesn't know how to do it, which has led her to be very short of money until now. I can't help but buy more books about Chinese and Western medicine. It's difficult to do, sister. Su Dong's cheerful voice brought back the distant thoughts of the building. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the sunny and obedient boy running towards him, and also showed a brilliant smile. Nowadays, Su Dong, who is only 13 years old, has not yet started smoking cigarettes and is shorter than the girl Lu Xiaoxiao. Although it was an inch long, Su Dong's excessively good-looking face was forcefully supported, and even made people feel handsome. However, at the age of 13, Lu Xiaoxiao is not as good-looking anymore. His oval face has thick eyebrows and big eyes, as well as unremarkable lips and nose. Overall, he belongs to the type that looks pleasing to the eye but relatively beautiful, and is a very ordinary person. Perhaps Su Dong grew up being protected by Lu Xiaoxiao from a young age, so even though he has many friends, he still loves to stick to Lu Xiaoxiao the most. "Sister, I'm sure I'll do well in this exam and I'll be able to go to school with you later." Lu Xiaoxiao touched Su Dong's inch and spoiled him, saying, let's go home." After passing the exam, the results were posted on the 17th day, and Su Dong and Lu Xiaoxiao were both admitted to key high schools. For the remaining time of the holiday, Su Dong was eagerly anticipating being able to continue sitting at the same desk as Lu Xiaoxiao every day, while Lu Xiaoxiao continued to gnaw on medical books. After entering junior high school, both of them seemed to have grown a lot. Although the building was small and had little change, Su Dong had a great change. From always following Lu Xiaoxiao in the past, to always playing basketball with other friends and often not seeing anyone. At first, Lu Xiaoxiao would occasionally urge him to study hard, but more times she felt Su Dong's disgust towards her. So Lu Xiaoxiao stopped meddling and focused on his own affairs. Time always passes quietly amidst busyness, and there are less than 70 days left before the high school entrance examination. At this moment, Su Dong suddenly became worried and stopped playing aimlessly with his friends. He wanted to study hard and not have too much distance from Lu Xiaoxiao, whom he grew up with. So, every day he followed behind Lu Xiaoxiao's buttocks, hoping that Lu Xiaoxiao would give him extra classes. At first, Lu Xiaoxiao hesitated, but after being worn down for a few days, she still softened her heart and agreed to protect her growing child. "Every day, I spent all the time and effort I had on medical skills on Su Dong, both emphasizing the key points and giving lectures." Su Dong studied hard in his first year of junior high school, but hardly ever heard of it in his second and third years. Lu Xiaoxiao had no choice but to start teaching from his second year. Finally, a week before the middle school entrance examination, Su Dong's knowledge reserve was pulled up. After the high school entrance examination, although both of them were admitted to key high schools, Lu Xiaoxiao still ranked among the top, while Su Dong was at the bottom of the line. In high school, both of them live on campus, so the intersection is even less. At first, Su Dong would come to find Lu Xiaoxiao to eat with, but in the second semester of the first year of high school, people didn't come much anymore. Lu Xiaoxiao doesn't care either, after all, she's not a child anymore. Even if she treats people like juniors in her heart, she has to worry about the thoughts of others. So, Lu Xiaoxiao usually has a meal with him during holidays, and he doesn't come to see him at other times. Moreover, after entering high school, Lu Xiaoxiao found a way to earn money and became even busier. Every day, he was either reading medical books or writing articles to earn money, so there was no free time left. The second year of high school passed smoothly, but unexpectedly, there were problems in the tense third year of high school. If it weren't for Su Dong's mother calling her, she wouldn't have known that Su Dong had been home for 3 days. Su Dong's mother called Lu Xiaoxiao and cried for her help, coming back to persuade Su Dong. Lu Xiaoxiao was really a bit speechless at that time. The downside was that it was on her. If it were on an ordinary girl, wouldn't it be harmful? It's such an important time in my senior year of high school, and teachers usually don't allow me to take leave. Lu Xiaoxiao sighed and finally went to ask for leave from the homeroom teacher, but of course the homeroom teacher was unwilling. Lu Xiaoxiao could only ensure and promise to let the homeroom teacher pass. After leaving school, she quickly took a car to Su Dong's house. As soon as she got off the car, she saw Su Dong's mother welcoming her, and she looked really haggard. "Xiaoxiao, you have finally arrived. Can you help Auntie?" Dong Dong has always listened to you the most since childhood. You advised him to go to school. It's already his 3rd year of high school, and there's nothing I can't do that can ruin my future. End of this chapter. 6, Chapter 6, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 6 Su Dong's mother's eyes were red, but she couldn't completely cover up the dark circles under her eyes that she had recently boiled. She held Lu Xiaoxiao's hand tightly, her eyes filled with prayers. Hey! Poor parents in the world. Lu Xiaoxiao sighed in her heart, but did not forget to comfort Su Dong's mother. Auntie, I will do my best, but our relationship is not as good as before after entering high school. I don't know if I can persuade him. Su Dong's mother quickly stated, Auntie has no intention of forcing you. Whether you succeed or not, Auntie will not blame you. If you are willing to come, Auntie should be grateful to you. Auntie really had no choice but to come to you. She's already in her 3rd year of high school and it's not long before the college entrance examination. If she doesn't go, wouldn't all these years of studying be in vain? Where is a slightly better job now without a diploma? His father and I don't have the ability to let him idle around. If his generation collapses, what will happen in the future? Lu Xiaoxiao followed Su Dong's mother's advice and walked into the room, silently listening without replying. Arriving at the door of Su Dong's room and looking at the locked door, Su Dong's mother's tears had a premonition of breaking through the embankment, and she couldn't help but stop complaining. Lu Xiaoxiao raised his hand and knocked on the door. Inside it was quiet. Lu Xiaoxiao could only speak out, Su Dong, can you open the door? Can you let me in? There is still no movement inside. Lu Xiaoxiao pursed her lips and decided to prick her heart. Su Dong, do you not want to take the college entrance examination anymore? Have you seriously considered it? Since we started high school, we've been in less and less contact. Have you ever thought about what will happen to us in the future? There was still no movement in the room, so the small building had to continue. I have had a goal since I was young to become a national treasure-level medical expert. I believe you have seen the big picture of my efforts since I was young. I don't guarantee that I will achieve my goal, but at worst, I will also be a doctor. And you? What about your future? If you miss the college entrance examination, you will either repeat your studies or drop out. In the end, you will have to find a factory that starts early and works late, using your health to make less than 10,000 yuan per month. Or will you be living in our small county town, barely making ends meet with a salary of 2,000 to 3,000 yuan per month, afraid to even get sick? And this is also considered a childhood sweetheart, don't you plan on taking it? Lu Xiaoxiao thought he had already talked about this, but Su Dong still wouldn't pay attention. He thought the door would open the next second. Su Dong's eyes turned red, tears silently streaming down her face. Lu Xiaoxiao sighed and showed a gentle smile as before, saying, Dong Dong, can you talk to my sister? Su Dong didn't say a word but nodded. Su Dong's mother saw her son open the door, and the big stone hanging in her heart finally landed. Being willing to open the door meant there was still hope. She quickly withdrew her tears and suppressed a painful smile, saying, Winter, bring Xiaoxiao inside and say, Mom will wash some fruits for you. Su Dong took Lu's small hand and led the person into the room to sit down, not knowing how to speak for a moment. Lu Xiaoxiao was not in a hurry and asked gently, Dong Dong, can you tell my sister what exactly happened? Su Dong hesitated for a moment and didn't immediately say, even Lu Xiaoxiao didn't rush. After a while, Su Dong's mother came in with a fruit platter, beckoning Lu Xiaoxiao to eat some fruit and saying she would go cook for Lu Xiaoxiao before leaving. Su Dong also got up at this time and locked the door after his mother went out. Then he went back and sat down and whispered, Sister, I am lovelorn. Lu Xiaoxiao remained calm and said, So you have to live or die. Give up on a bright future. Su Dong pursed his lips but did not refute. Lu Xiaoxiao's voice remained calm and composed. It's normal for a young man to fall in love or lose a relationship. After all, no one has ever experienced the twilight of youth. It's just winter. Have you ever thought about a practical problem? Su Dong looked up at Lu Xiaoxiao and asked in confusion, what practical problem? Do you have money? Su Dong couldn't understand why Lu Xiaoxiao asked this inexplicable question, but he still obediently shook his head. Lu Xiaoxiao smiled and explained, do you know that your love is built on a spiritual level, but do you only want to love and not get married? Su Dong fell silent. Love is for marriage, and he doesn't want to be satisfied only on a spiritual level. You see that you also want to get married, but the problem is that you need an economic foundation to get married. Do you have it? Su Dong shook his head. Do you have to rely on your parents? But as far as I know, your family cannot let you not consider your financial foundation, so what should you do? Su Dong's eyes were filled with confusion. Lu Xiaoxiao continued to work hard. I'm asking you a practical question. Will your romantic partner need an economic foundation? Or does her family have money? If so, is she willing to take care of you? If not, how can you solve your food and clothing needs? Su Dong was completely confused. Lu Xiaoxiao gently touched Su Dong's head again and said, all of this cannot be separated from money, and the college entrance examination is laying the foundation for you to earn more money. Do you think you can still give up? Or you can think about it from a different perspective. In the future, I will become a well-known doctor, and I will be relaxed from 9 in the morning to 5 in the evening. Occasionally, when I feel better, I can still go on a trip. And you are doing hard work and tiring work, 6 in the morning and 12 in the evening, all you want to do is sleep. It's good to have 3 or 4 days off in a month. If you're in a bad mood or something happens, you either don't have time or money. Perhaps one day in the future, I have a sudden desire to meet you, my childhood sweetheart. Although they may be the same age when we meet, I dress well and look at you in your prime, while you look old in your decadent and casual clothes. Even though your peers are born into 2 generations. What kind of mood would you feel like? Will you feel ashamed or sad? Do you feel like we've become strangers? Su Dong couldn't help but follow Lu Xiaoxiao's portrayal of the future and think about it. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable it became, and the more he thought about it, the more frightened it became. The pain brought by a breakup was instantly squeezed out of his mind. He doesn't want to like his older sister from a young age at all. He may look down on himself and pity himself in the future. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the fighting spirit ignited in the young man's eyes and smiled. Indeed, he was still a young boy. His heart was high and he didn't want to fall under anyone at all. Su Dong looked up firmly at Lu Xiaodao and said, Sister, I won't do what you said. Okay. Su Dong opened his mouth, but he felt a bit embarrassed to speak. Since middle school, I've been bothering my sister. Are we going to trouble her again now? But besides his sister, he really doesn't know who else can help him in this situation. These 2 years have been too wasteful. He is afraid that even 2 books are hopeless just by himself. Lu Xiaoxiao knew what he was thinking from his appearance, but this time she didn't intend to spoil him anymore, and of course she wouldn't completely ignore him. Dong Dong, sister can't help you start learning from scratch bit by bit this time. Su Dong became even more disheartened upon hearing this, and even felt a bit like giving up on himself. Lu Xiaoxiao couldn't help but laugh when she saw that Su Dong had not heard what she was saying behind her. End of this chapter. Chapter 7, Volume 1 of the City. The King, Dr. 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7, Volume 1 of the City. The King, Dr. 7. Hey, there's really nothing she can do this time. She didn't finish learning high school knowledge in her first life, and even the things she learned were already returned to the teacher. Now, it's also her first time fully learning high school knowledge. If she hadn't taken advantage of her high spiritual attributes and good memory, she would have already fallen into a coma with her own intelligence. How could she have been ranked first and second again? Looking at the cute and obedient child in front of her, Lu Xiaoxiao still did whatever she wanted to help. However, I can give you the key points I have sorted out, and you can see for yourself. You can calculate as much as you can learn. Su Dong's eyes lit up instantly, and his moist eyes stared straight at Lu Xiaoxiao, full of joy. Sister, I knew you wouldn't care about me. Well, then come to school obediently tomorrow and I'll go and deliver it to you tomorrow morning. Su Dong probed and said, Sister, are you leaving now? Lu Xiaoxiao nodded and said, I only took 1 day off. I can still catch one class when I get back now. Su Dong's lips hesitated a few times, but he didn't say anything to persuade him to stay. He was already in his 3rd year of high school and shouldn't have bothered his sister. Sister, I'll see you off. Lu Xiaoxiao stood up and responded with a smile, okay. Su Dong followed behind Lu Xiaoxiao and left the room. Su Dong's mother, who was paying attention to the movements while cooking in the kitchen, immediately saw it. Hurriedly wiping his hands and rushing out, he pulled the small path from the building and said, Why do you have to leave? You came here for winter, let's eat before leaving. Lu Xiaoxiao jokingly refused, Auntie, you know we can't afford to delay our senior year. We have a lot of homework every day, and I don't even know when I'll be going back. If the delay continues, I'll have to make up for it and cry. Su Dong's mother couldn't help but laugh at the words and said, You girl, okay, Auntie won't stop you. When you and Dong Dong finish their college entrance exams, Auntie will take you to eat hot pot. Lu Xiaoxiao reached out and stopped a taxi, got in and waved goodbye to Su Dong and her mother from the window, saying, Okay, then Auntie, I'll leave. Su Dong's mother nodded and said, Okay, pay attention to safety on the way. Send a message to Auntie when you arrive. Lu Xiaoxiao smiled and nodded to indicate that she heard it. She then withdrew her gaze and took out her phone to check the time. It was already past 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so she quickly rushed to the driver and said, I need to go to the bus station. Can you please drive faster? I'm a bit late for the bus. Okay, then you can sit well. The driver uncle is a straightforward and talkative person. After agreeing, he increased the throttle and started chatting with Lu Xiaoxiao. Lu Xiaoxiao listened politely, only responding when the driver asked her, and it wasn't boring all the way. 10 minutes later, we arrived at our destination. Lu Xiaoxiao quickly paid and ran to the station. He stopped the bus just a second before it started, apologizing and getting on. The driver reminded him somewhat displeased, Our car departs at a fixed time. If we can't make it, we'll wait for the next one. Even if Mao rushes over impatiently, he won't be afraid of me hitting you. Lu Xiaoxiao knew that this was his fault and could only continue to apologize, I'm really sorry, I didn't calculate the time accurately. I will definitely be on time next time. The driver said impatiently, Hurry up and find a place to sit down. Lu Xiaoxiao is obedient and obedient. Shaking and swaying all the way, Lu Xiaoxiao successfully fell asleep. The high school courses were really heavy, and even with busy classes and homework every day, he could sleep for 6 or 7 hours. As for the space, Lu Xiaoxiao hasn't used it for 3 years because she hasn't had a complete experience of high school before. Therefore, this time she plans to fully experience it without cheating. Speaking of which, one cannot help but marvel at the true academic achievers. They are really different from Lu Xiaoxiao. How could they perform so well in the same amount of time as ordinary people? Lu Xiaoxiao always strives to be the first with the top student. As long as she relaxes a bit, the top student will snatch her back, which makes Lu Xiaoxiao have to constantly urge herself to work hard. Returning to school, Lu Xiaoxiao went on vacation with the homeroom teacher and quickly began to make up for homework for various subjects. The next day, Lu Xiaoxiao went to deliver key knowledge to Su Dong with black circles under her eyes. Su Dong is lying on his stomach to catch up on his sleep. He was sent over too early today, and now he is so tired that his eyes cannot open. In addition, he also wants to mess up for a while. He has owed too many papers in the past few days, making his scalp tingle. He doesn't know how to start. Winter and winter. Upon hearing Lu Xiaoxiao's voice, Su Dong immediately lifted his head and looked at the door. He immediately smiled at Lu Xiaoxiao and got up to go over. Sister, why are your black circles so heavy? Su Dong's joyful voice twisted as he noticed the obvious black circles under Lu Xiaoxiao's eyes. Lu Xiaoxiao handed him the notebook and yawned while explaining, our class has always had the most homework, and you don't know that everyone doesn't have dark circles under their eyes. Plus, I came back to do homework too late yesterday, so the dark circles are so heavy. I'm so tired, I won't tell you anymore. I'll go back and catch up on some sleep quickly, otherwise I'll lose my energy during class. Su Dong held a notebook and said with concern in his eyes, all right, sister, hurry up and get some sleep. I'll treat you to dinner tomorrow. Well, let's go. Lu Xiaoxiao's footsteps are a bit erratic. In theory, Lu Xiaoxiao shouldn't be so overwhelmed. It's just that she hasn't slept well since her sophomore year, and even if her attribute value is high, it's not easy for her to use it. Like a ghost, he drifted back to the classroom and sat down in his seat, squinting. After taking a nap for about 10 minutes, Lu Xiaoxiao was completely awake. So far, Lu Xiaoxiao's attributes have only slightly recovered, and the reason why she is enduring so hard is also due to this. She found that under such high pressure, her mental attributes recover much faster than automatic recovery. For example, her current attributes. Strength. 1452/273758 Agility. 1480/282582 Physical Fitness. 1455/283596 Spirit. 3503/294831 Status. For dimensional rapid recovery in progress, hint. Low martial world, the mental attribute is significantly several times higher than other attributes, and this attribute can be improved by 1 to 5 points almost every day. Overall, these attributes recovered quickly in her first 3 months as a baby, and after that, she could hardly recover 100 points in a year. To regain her peak, Lu Xiaoxiao feels that she may not be able to do it until she dies in this lifetime. The bell rang, and Lu Xiaoxiao found her textbook waiting for class. And Su Dong's relationship with Lu Xiaoxiao became closer again. Su Dong would occasionally come to see Lu Xiaoxiao, sometimes asking questions about his studies, sometimes inviting Lu Xiaoxiao to eat together, and sometimes bringing food for Lu Xiaoxiao. As for Su Dong's breakup, no one has mentioned it again. In a blink of time, it was the day before the college entrance examination. On this day, the teacher did not force everyone to study. Instead, he asked everyone to prepare for the exam, check for any gaps, and make up for any mistakes. Don't let the exam come and go. On the day of the exam, Su Dong was a bit nervous. He didn't know if he could do well, but Lu Xiaoxiao seemed a bit excited. As long as she finished the exam, she could sleep well for a few days. End of this chapter. Chapter 8, Volume 1 of The City King, Dr. 8. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8, Volume 1 of The City King, Dr. 8. How can this not make her happy? She really can't hold on anymore. If it weren't for her daily psychological counseling and telling herself that she would only have a few days to completely relax, she would be like a donkey hanging from a carrot, struggling through it. After the exam, Lu Xiaoxiao didn't come out for a while, and Su Dong also came out. The two of them met without saying anything else, so they packed up and left the school gate together. Both Su Dong's mother and Shiku have come, and neither of their fathers have come. Su Dong took the lead in shouting, "Auntie, Mom." Shiku smiled at Su Dong. To be honest, she had always liked Su Dong from a young age. This child was well behaved, obedient, and beautiful since childhood. Now that she has smoked noodles, she still looks delicate and obedient, giving off a creamy and cute feeling. She is pure and likable. Dong dong, come and let Auntie take a look. You've lost weight. You should come to Auntie's house frequently during holidays, and Auntie will make delicious supplements for you. As for my daughter, she completely forgot about it. Su Dong's mother, on the other hand, was the opposite. She really liked Lu Xiaoxiao, who was a worry-free and calm child. She quickly called out, Xiaoxiao, come to Auntie quickly. Are you tired from exams? Last time Auntie even said she would take you to eat hot pot, so the four of us happened to go together. Coco, let's go have hot pot. Shiku held Su Dong's hand and responded, success. The four went to the hot pot restaurant, ordered a double-flavor hot pot and ate it. After eating, the two mothers took Lu Xiaoxiao and Su Dong to the amusement park and stayed at a hotel until it was dark. The next day, I played wildly for another day. On the third day, the four individuals returned home separately. During the holidays, Su Dong often came to play at Lu Xiaojia, and soon the admission letter came down. Su Dong didn't have much confidence in his grades, so he filled out his first choice as a first-tier student and the rest as a second-tier student. Fortunately, he barely managed to pass the exam. And all of Lu Xiaoxiao's choices were filled out in one book, with the first choice being Capital Medical University, which is the top medical university. I am very lucky to have achieved my wish. Su Dong and Lu Xiaoming were not able to attend university in the same city in the future. He felt a bit uneasy and even regretted not studying hard. He came to Lu Xiaoming's house much less frequently. Lu Xiaoxiao was urged by her mother to call and comfort Su Dong. Hello, what's up, sister? Lu Xiaoxiao remained silent for a while and said, I'll invite you out to dinner. Su Dong was pleasantly surprised when he heard this. He always went to find Lu Xiaoxiao on his own, and Lu Xiaoxiao rarely came to find him. He couldn't help but ask happily, when? Tomorrow. Okay, see you tomorrow. After hanging up his phone, Lu Xiaoxiao looked at Shiku waiting next to him. Shiku smiled contentedly and said, okay, Mom won't bother you anymore. Let's go now. Shiku stopped at the door and turned to Lu Xiaoxiao, reminding him, remember to comfort Dong Dong tomorrow. He has been clinging to you since he was young and has a soft temper. Now that he wants to study alone in another city, he must be afraid. Lu Xiaoxiao said silently, Mom, why don't you care about me? I also want to go to another city to study alone. Shiku tugged at the corner of his mouth and asked, with your strength, who do you think I should worry about? Lu Xiaoxiao pursed her lips as she watched her mother remain silent, and Shiku remained silent. Okay, I don't need it myself. Lu Xiaoxiao pulled out a professional fake smile and said, Mom, are you busy? Shiku rolled his eyes and shook his head before leaving. My daughter has always been like a little adult since she was young. She doesn't have to worry about anything, can solve everything on her own, and has great strength. She has her own ideas and opinions on everything she does, so much so that she is filled with maternal love and has nowhere to vent. In the end, it all fell on Su Dong, a child who had been in pain for so many years. The emotions were naturally extraordinary, and it can be said that, it's not biological, it's better than biological. This child didn't do well in the exam. He has an extremely soft temperament, how can she not worry? Lu Xiaoxiao threw out unnecessary thoughts and wandered in the ocean of medicine, striving to learn. The habit that I gradually developed in my previous life, waking up at 8 o'clock on time, has not been forgotten even after 18 years of pregnancy. While packing up, the door was knocked on. Lu Xiaoxiao put down his things and opened the door, saying, Mom, what's wrong? Shiku looked inside and said, I'm packing up. I even said I came to wake you up. Since you're up, hurry up and eat first. After finishing, pack up. Lu Xiaoxiao turned around and continued to be busy, saying, I don't need to bring much, I'll pack it up right away. Okay, hurry up. Lu Xiaoxiao let out a casual, and then stopped talking. Shiko left to prepare a meal. 5 minutes later, Lu Xiaoxiao came out carrying a backpack and casually closed the door. Sitting down at the dining table, he looked at his mother who was playing with her phone while eating and said, I might have to stay at my aunt's house for a day in the past. Shiko didn't even look up and said, well, you can arrange it yourself. Don't forget what I told you. Lu Xiaoxiao tugged at the corner of her mouth and realized that her own daughter didn't deserve her attention. Don't worry, I won't forget, she said. She quickly finished a bowl of rice and got up to become the second bowl. Finally, Shika looked up and said in an envious tone, Bao, can you tell me where all the food you've eaten went? Why haven't you ever gained weight? If you do more work, you will eat more. As for why I can't eat too much, hey, what can I do? Born to drop, you can't envy me. Lu Xiaoxiao said with a hint of pride, feeling so angry that Shiko was instantly unwilling to take care of her old daughter. Hey, she sighed silently, thinking that she used to be a little bird's stomach, but who made her wear it on the starving ancient people? She instinctively ate more when she had food, but later her habits couldn't change. Eating less makes her feel anxious, and as her attributes become higher, she needs more energy. She eats more and more, like a bucket of rice. Nowadays, the amount of food eaten is relatively small. When the attributes are higher, then the appetite is called large. After dinner, Lu Xiaoxiao walked out with a backpack on his back and took a car to Su Dong's house. Su Dong got up early and waited, but whether he could wait left or right, he almost thought that Lu Xiaoxiao was going to stand him up. Finally, Lu Xiaoxiao appeared, and Su Dong quickly stepped forward with joy. He couldn't help but complain with some grievances, Sister, I thought you weren't coming. I'm not late, I still managed to catch the earliest bus. Su Dong. Lu Xiaoxiao touched Su Dong's head and patiently said, should we play at your house for a while or should we go out and take a stroll now? Su Dong didn't answer, but asked, Sister treats others the same way, likes to touch their heads. Upon hearing this, Lu Xiaoxiao felt a bit confused for a moment, but still said honestly, I'm too lazy to socialize. You're the only friend in this life, don't you think? Su Dong suddenly said with an unclear meaning, I heard someone say, a woman's waist, a man's head can't even touch it. Sister, do you know that? Lu Xiaoxiao didn't react for a moment and directly asked, who are you talking nonsense about? Why can't you touch them? Didn't you see many girls hugging each other? It's normal to touch your waist. End of this chapter. Chapter 9, Volume 1 of the City. The King, Dr. 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9, Volume 1 of the City. The King, Dr. 9. What else does it mean that a boy's head can't be touched? Why aren't you willing to let your sister touch it? Or did your sister mess up your hairstyle? You're still young, don't listen to people talk nonsense. What kind of hair can be cut off, blood can flow, and hairstyle can't be messy? Those second-grade words, sister, tell you, this person's life is more important than anything else, you know. Su Dong blinked his eyes a bit foolishly and nodded dryly, indicating that he wouldn't be so mediocre. Lu Xiaoxiao is now at ease. Nowadays, children are all so uncomfortable. However, in his first life, in the eyes of others, it is probably very uncomfortable. Sister, let's have dinner before we go play. Please treat me to dinner tonight. Su Dong expressed his plans. Have you not eaten yet? I only came after breakfast. After finishing the novel, Lu thought of his mother's explanation and expressed concern in a joking tone, oh by the way, my mother even said to let me comfort you well. TSK my own daughter can't match your status in her heart. That's not true, I'm the biological son of my aunt. Lu Xiaoxiao gave Su Dong a sudden shudder and said, you can, let's go. I'll be eating with you. With your sister's appetite, we can still have another bowl. Su Dong tugged at Lu Xiaoxiao's wrist and said, that's a good relationship. My mother has already prepared food and is waiting for it. Su Dong's mother was washing clothes when her son shouted, "Mom, sister is here. Hey. Here we go, take Xiao Xiao to the house and wait for a while." Lu Xiaoxiao looked at Su Dong's mother's somewhat anxious movements and quickly comforted her, "Auntie, take your time. Don't worry, I only came after eating at home. I didn't listen to Dong Dong saying you made food and waited, so I craved your skills. I think I can still eat some more." Okay, Auntie, don't worry." Speaking, the movement also slowed down. Lu Xiaoxiao followed Su Dong into the room and sat down. Su Dong filled the room with some melon seeds and fruits, and poured water before sitting across from Lu Xiaoxiao. Su Dong nibbled on melon seeds and asked, "Sister, why did you suddenly remember to treat me to dinner?" Lu Xiaoxiao didn't show any courtesy, grabbed a handful of melon seeds and chatted with Su Dong in a leisurely and casual tone. "Can't we invite you?" "Can, why can't I ask? I'm so familiar with you, sister. With your temperament, if it's okay, you won't say, 'Treat me to dinner.'" Lu Xiaoxiao gave her a slight glance and said, "You're quite clever. It's not that my mother is worried about you, a well-behaved son with a glass heart. She can't take it easy. Let me comfort you." Speaking of this, Su Dong's mood couldn't help but sink, and he stopped eating melon seeds. Lu Xiaoxiao gently kicked Su Dong's leg and said, "Can't you really have a glass heart? Sister, we have never been apart since we were young. The farthest distance is from your home to my house. After going to college this time, I don't know if you will have the chance to meet again in the future." Su Dong felt more and more sad as he spoke, with a hint of bitterness on his delicate face. Lu Xiaoxiao paused while munching on melon seeds, got up and sat down next to Su Dong, reaching out to grab Su Dong's shoulder and patting it. "What's so unpleasant about this? If you miss me, just call me and send me a message. I'll come and see you when I have time. If you are afraid that no one is covering you anymore and you lack a sense of security, I will go to your place and find a powerful little brother to replace me and protect you." Su Dong himself doesn't know what he's really happy about, but maybe he doesn't feel secure like his sister said. That's settled. As Lu Xiaoxiao withdrew his hand, he patted Su Dong's head and said, Your sister, I'll keep my word." After dinner, Su Dong excitedly took Lu Xiaoxiao out to play. "Sister, let's go play basketball." "Okay, you play and I'll see." Su Dong immediately put on a pitiful expression and said, "Sister, don't forget that you're here to comfort me. This is just a small request from me." Lu Xiaoxiao spread out her hands and said, "I don't know how to do it." Su Dong said reluctantly, "Sister, let's play together. You promised me just when we had dinner, and I'll listen to you today." Lu Xiaoxiao fell silent for a moment and said softly, "So you're waiting for me?" Su Dong just smiled without speaking. Lu Xiaoxiao could only acknowledge it by pinching her nose, but who made her agree? After all, if you say it, you'll spill water. The two of them arrived at the place, and Su Dong sent a few messages and began to give Lu Xiaoxiao some basic rules for playing basketball. Afterwards, Lu Xiaoxiao tried to bring the ball around and remembered about it. Soon, Su Dong's friends also arrived, and Su Dong led Lu Xiaoxiao and 3 other people to team up and start playing basketball. Lu Xiaoxiao, except for being a bit unfamiliar, has a good grasp on both the strength and accuracy of the game, and basically dominates the other team in a game. Su Dong wiped his sweat and walked towards Lu Xiaoqian with water, complimenting him with a smile, "Sister, you're amazing. Are you still here? It's quite interesting." Lu Xiaoxiao didn't receive water because this amount of exercise was not tiring for her at all. The water was not given out, and Su Dong didn't care either. He unscrewed the bottle cap and started pouring it himself. He drank half of it and poured the remaining half directly from the top. Lu Xiaoxiao took a step back in disgust, avoiding water splashing onto her body. "Come on, continue." She played 5 more games, and Lu Xiaoxiao's basketball skills were fast and proficient. The team with her was basically guaranteed to win, and she didn't even sweat a drop. Su Dong's friends all looked at Lu Xiaoxiao with envy and admiration, praising Su Dong one after another. Su Dong's proud basketball was shattered every minute by Lu Xiaoxia, both admired and disappointed. Lu Xiaoxiao noticed Su Dong's abnormality, but she still wasn't good at comforting people, so she decided to let Su Dong not have so much time to mourn spring and autumn. Are you all tired? Today I'll treat you and let's go eat hot pot together. They were all just graduating children, and no one had much money in their hands. Someone invited them to eat hot pot, and everyone's attention was quickly diverted. They all playfully thanked Lu Xiaoxiao. Thank you, sister. She's grand. Su Dong, however, felt a bit embarrassed. He reached out and tugged at Lu's small clothes, whispering, Sister, do you have that much money? The 10 of us would have to settle for several hundred at a time. I still have over 200 here. Do you think it's enough? If it's not enough, I'll ask my mom for some. Lu Xiaoxiao comforted Su Dong's head and said, Don't worry, I can afford this money. Let's go. It's rare for me to treat you today, so you have to let go and eat. Otherwise, it will be difficult to wait for the next time. As soon as Su Dong heard that he was not short of money, his nervous heart relaxed. At this age, he still has a very good face. A group of people came to the hot pot restaurant and ate in 2 double-flavor hot pot. In the end, they all had enough to eat and rested for a while before getting up and preparing to leave. Lu Xiaoxiao and Su Dong finished last and paid the bill, eating over 1,200 yuan in total. End of this chapter. Chapter 10, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10, Volume 1. The King of Cities. Dr. 10. Su Dong's heart twitched as he looked at Lu Xiaoxiao, who was instantly worried. However, he saw that Lu Xiaoxiao's face had no color difference and calmly took out his phone to make the payment. The other young men were heartbroken when they saw that they had eaten over 1,000. They were all children of ordinary families, and their meals never exceeded 100, and some even did not exceed 50. Now, everyone was very guilty and embarrassed, apologizing to Lu Xiaoxiao with guilt. Lu Xiaoxiao expressed indifference and gestured for Su Dong to also speak, which finally calmed them down. After strolling together, everyone said goodbye and parted ways. Lu Xiaoxiao walked shoulder to shoulder with Su Dong and suddenly asked, I haven't asked you yet. What do you plan to do in the future? Su Dong rubbed his swollen stomach and casually said, The one who admitted me is an art school, and that's all I can choose. In the future, I will either be a dance teacher or an actor. Speaking, Su Dong suddenly laughed and said, Maybe I can still become a small internet celebrity. Would you like to make a list for me, sister? Lu Xiaoyu emphasized, Winter, it's not that sister doesn't want to. You may not know that one of the medical graduates is an 8-year program. Su Dongmu stared blankly at Lu Xiaoxiao, unable to make any comment and said, You need to study for 8 years to graduate. Yes, it is. Su Dong was momentarily speechless and had no idea what he was going to say at the moment. Lu Xiaoxiao directly grabbed Su Dong's shoulder and walked forward with the person in his arms, saying, Go home. The next day, Lu Xiaoxiao was supposed to go back, but Su Dong's mother stopped him. So Lu Xiaoxiao stayed at Su Dong's house for 3 more days, playing wild with him. During this period, Lu Xiaoxiao did not receive a phone call from her mother. Therefore, the first time she returned home, Lu Xiaoxiao ran over and questioned her mother, Are you not loving me anymore? 4 days. 4 whole days. You haven't called me a single time. Shika sat on the sofa, crossing his legs while eating snacks and watching TV, and casually said, You can't lose it again. Lu Xiaoxiao stood in front of Shika dissatisfied, and Shika reached out to push away his daughter who was blocking her from watching TV. Go away, it's blocking my line of sight, he said. Lu Xiaoxiao pounced on the sofa with all her might, flipped over to find a comfortable spot, grabbed the snack from Shirku's hand, and ate it. She lay comfortably together watching TV. Shiku glared at his daughter and said displeasedly, "If you want to eat, you won't be able to take it yourself, really." Unhappy as he spoke, he picked up a bag of snacks and opened it to eat. In this lifetime, the relationship between Lu Xiaoxiao and his mother was like friends. "After so many years, my father has also changed his job and now he is partnering with someone in the county to open a shop and operate it. It is not yet time for my father to come back." Lu Xiaoxiao rarely has time to relax. She is basically pushing herself to work hard. After this holiday, she has to get busy again. Therefore, she plans to relax and unwind during the remaining time of this holiday. To be honest, when it comes to modern times, Lu Xiaoxiao is a bit uncomfortable. He no longer knows how to use mobile phones and computers, and he rarely plays games or novels. She still remembers when she was only in ancient times, she missed these things every night, but now that they are within reach, she has become accustomed to not thinking about them anymore. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but feel a little smirk. Time passed by as the mother and daughter chatted incessantly, and it was already 8 o'clock in the blink of an eye. Shiku heard the sound of his own alarm clock, got up from the sofa, and went to the kitchen to prepare ingredients for cooking. Lu Xiaoxiao followed suit and went to the kitchen to help, saying, "Mom, what kind of food are you preparing? Let's do it together." Shiku didn't even lift his head and was busy washing vegetables. He took some time to reply, "Rice, you don't need to worry about the dishes. Just go and steam the rice. Once it's ready, you can play with it yourself." Lu Xiaoxiao nodded and steamed the rice, then continued watching TV after finishing it. Half an hour later, the aroma of vegetables came from the kitchen, and at the same time, there was a commotion at the door. It was my father, Lu Weirong, who had returned. Lu Xiaoxiao looked at the door and saw that the door was pushed open from the outside. Lu Weirong immediately bent down to change his shoes when he entered the room. "Dad." Lu Weirong glanced at the voice and then took off his shoes, not idle. "When did you come back, Xiaoxiao? Did you have fun at Dongdong's house?" Lu Xiaoxiao stood up and brought a cup of tea to Lu Weirong. It was Lu Weirong's habit to drink a cup of tea every night when he came back. "I came back at noon and had some fun." Lu Weirong changed into his slippers, washed his hands in the bathroom, sat down, took a sip from his own tea cup, and then asked, "How is Dongdong like that child?" "It's pretty good." Lu Weirong smashed his butt and mouth, secretly glanced at the kitchen to make sure that people wouldn't suddenly come out, and then lowered his voice and said, "That's good. You're not here these days, and your mother keeps nagging in my ear. You said this isn't her son, why are you more proactive than caring about you?" Lu Xiaoxiao shrugged innocently at her father and said, "Who made my mother like weak and caring cubs?" As an old father, Lu Weirong had a wicked smile on his lips and said, "Girl, can you pretend to be one?" Lu Xiaoxiao was too lazy to talk to her old father, so she focused her attention on the TV instead of talking nonsense. Lu Weirong didn't get angry when his daughter ignored him, so he indulged himself in tea tasting. About 10 minutes later, the old mother in the kitchen called out, "Come and serve the dishes, have a meal." Lu Xiaomiao turned off the TV and went to the kitchen to serve vegetables. Lu Weirong, however, went leisurely while drinking tea, and the result was obviously a nagging from his mother. Daily and warm days are always long and short. As she approached college registration, Lu Xiaoxiao started packing up her daily necessities in advance. This was her first time attending college, and she was quite excited and curious. On the day of registration, Lu Xiaoxiao walked into the campus early with her luggage, truly a top medical university, filled with people everywhere, bustling and bustling. Lu Xiaoxiao skillfully shuttled through the crowd without any physical contact with anyone. Arriving at a sparsely populated place, Lu Xiaoxiao unfolded his spirit and covered the entire college, instantly realizing where it was and where he was going to the registration office. As she was walking, suddenly several handsome guys blocked her way. "Beauty, are you the new student who came to report?" Lu Xiaoxiao nodded and, just as the person was about to speak, shook the suitcase and put it on his shoulder with a bright smile, saying, "What's up?" A few handsome guys instantly stepped back, their smiles stiff and forced. "It's okay." "Oh, then I'll leave first." After walking for a while, Lu Xiaoxiao put down his suitcase and continued dragging forward, paying no attention to the small incident just now. In this life, she still doesn't plan to fall in love because she has experienced the hardships of love, so she only plans to watch others fall in love and endure the hardships of love. When I arrived at the registration office and applied for a good name, I took the dormitory key given by my supervisor and went to the dormitory. From her mentor's words, she already knew some information about the dormitory, so she was not surprised at all when she saw someone in the dormitory. End of this chapter.